Right, shalom, shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Waharakah Kadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and honors to you brothers out there in the highways and the byways, teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. And I want to talk about reincarnation. You really can't understand the Bible. You really can't understand the words of the Most High. You can't understand the prophecies without an understanding of reincarnation, which means reincarnation means to be back in the flesh. All right, understand that you have a spirit, all right, and that spirit dwells in vessels. Now there are celestial vessels and there are earthly vessels. All right. All right, this is First Corinthians 15 and 40. It says there are also celestial bodies and bodies terrestrial. But the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another. All right. Terrestrial meaning earthly. All right. Celestial meaning heavenly, meaning in the spirit world, the higher plane, they have bodies. All right. There are bodies which exist. Those bodies are not made of flesh and bone, but they're bodies. This is why the Most High, Yahweh Shai, they have form. All right. Now we mirror that form to an extent, but in the flesh, hands, feet, right? But it's manifested in the form of flesh. Now your spirit can dwell in a celestial body, or it can dwell in a terrestrial body. Let me get Paul. This is 2 Corinthians 5 and 1. It says, for we know that if our earthly house, right, which is the terrestrial body, right, of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of God, and a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. All right. The house, it represents your body. So you have an eternal body in the heavens. This body you have here is a temporary body. It's temporal. It's not everlasting. All right. The laws of thermodynamics, it breaks down. All right. Now, when you die, your spirit goeth upward, and it goes into one of these heavenly bodies, and you dwell there until the Lord decide that your spirit leave that estate and come back down here in the form of one of these bodies. All right. All right. This is Ecclesiastes 3 and 21. Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward, because it's a higher plane, right? And the spirit of the beast that goeth downward to the earth. All right. So reincarnation is simply saying that you die, your spirit leaves this plane, and then you come back in the flesh. Now, according to the seed, because Israelites come back. Israelites, the physical realm is a reflection of the heavenly realm, and in the heavenly realm, the spirits have order. The Israelite spirits are a higher order of spirits, which are given the title as the sons of God, a higher order of spirits. That is reflected on earth as being the seed of Israel. And then you have the other nations, they have their seeds that they inhabit on earth. So if you're of the seed of Esau and you go up in the spirit world, you have your place, your order. But when you come back down on earth, you come back down into a particular seed, which is the seed of Esau. So it's the same thing with the Israelites. The Israelites always come down in that particular seed, that chosen seed, that chosen lineage. Now Yahweh Shai being an example, he took upon himself what? Abraham's seed. Now, did he exist in the spirit? Of course, before. He existed in the heavens, man. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the Most High. Okay, but he left his heavenly abode and manifested as a seed of Abraham through Joseph, right? Hebrews 2:16, for verily he took not on him the nature of angels, but he took on him the seed of Abraham. All right, he was incarnated in that flesh. So going back to reincarnation, that's all reincarnation simply means, that you come back in the flesh, right? And we've all been here before. You die and you come back. That's just how it is. All right? That's how a man can sin and you think he got away with it. He would do a lifetime of wickedness and die. And you think he got away with it. He didn't, because he gonna come back here on earth and be judged. And that's why you see people suffering. And you're wondering, why is man catching hell like this? Well, he's paying for the sins of his past. Why do you think we were born into slavery? Because you're suffering for your sins. Right? The sins of your fathers, which was you. That's in Lamentations. Is it 5? Yeah, Lamentations 5:1. Remember, O Lord, what come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers. These are all curses, by the way. Our house is to aliens. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are widows. We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest. We have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians to be satisfied with bread. Our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities. Yeah, because ultimately you are your fathers coming back in the reincarnation. And that's why you're paying for their sins. Because this is when you read the scriptures, right? The scriptures don't talk about a place of punishment which is beyond the grave. This is the place of punishment. When you read the curses in Deuteronomy 28, these are all things that happen in the flesh, that happen on earth. The Bible doesn't talk about metaphysical suffering. All of the blessings and the curses that are written in the scriptures is something that is something which is manifested here on earth in the flesh. This is where you have heaven. This is where you have hell. This is where the Lord rewards you, whether it be for good or evil, is here on earth. That's a fact. This ideology of punishment outside of earth and mankind is not in the scriptures. And nothing proves that more than reading Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. Because the punishment for sin and transgression and the breaking of the covenant were things that happened to you on earth while you were alive. It was nothing about, oh, well, when you die, you're going to burn in hell. It would have just said that, wouldn't it? Like, that's what you would lead with. Common sense, like. So, I want to get an example here. In Deuteronomy 30th chapter, right? As it is titled here, the restoration of the promised. Now, you have to remember that when you're reading Deuteronomy 30, you read it as if it's being spoken to you, because it really was spoken to us, and it's a living book. It's that dynamic that as an Israelite, I can read this like I was there, almost like I was there, because I was there. All right. It says restoration promise. It says, and who was it promised to you? Was it promised to you? Well, if you're an Israelite, it is promised to you, and I'm gonna show you that. And reincarnation is what explains it. And it says to come to pass, right? This was Moses speaking to. He didn't just. This wasn't something that was just written. This was spoken and written down, like how you get like a meeting, and a man might speak in the meeting, and someone's writing down the minutes, right? And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee. So he's telling the people, listen, you see, you're gonna break the laws. You're gonna receive blessings, but you're also gonna receive the curses for breaking these. And you are gonna end up scattered among the nations. Now you might say, oh, he's talking in general. No, he was speaking to them and their children. Them. Because reincarnation. It says, and shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children. He didn't say your children. See, if it was just going to be the children, because you say, okay, there is no reincarnation, I'm telling you what's going to happen in the future to your descendants, and it's got nothing to do with you. You just say, oh, your descendants, your children. No, he said, you and your children. You and your children. That proves reincarnation. Because you are going to be involved in this thing every step of the way. That's why you get reincarnated in the third and fourth generation. Because you constantly a part of this story, of this journey. We've all experienced it. We've experienced the captivities. We've experienced it all. Think of it. Every third and fourth generation. That means we've all experienced America. We've all experienced Rome. We all experienced Greece. These things spanned many generations. Okay? And shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God have scattered thee. Right? That means there was people there that he was speaking to that were going to receive of the salvation in these last days. How is that possible? Through reincarnation, man. That's the only way to explain it. Because remember, he said, thou and thy children. Okay? If any of that, then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. Now, this is in the case of the Israelites, but I want to use Amalek as an example. Now, I'm just going to type in Amalek, right? We're talking about Exodus 17 and 8, right? This is coming out of Egypt. It says, then came Amalek and fought with Israel. Right? So this is during the time of Moses. Now, Deuteronomy 25 and 17 says, remember what Amalek did unto thee, by the way, when you come forth out of Egypt. Verse 19, therefore it shall be when the Lord thy God have given thee rest from all thy enemies round about in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under the sun, thou shalt not forget it. Okay? Now, remember, this is the time of Moses. After Moses, you had Joshua and the time of the judges. These are all many, many, many generations into the future, leading up to the days of Saul. Now, so when you get to the time of Saul, 1 Samuel 15 and 2, thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek, and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and child, camel, ass. Now, the Lord is saying here to kill the adults, kill the children, for something that happened many, many, many generations before. So technically, wouldn't these people be innocent of that crime? Not with the Lord, because the Lord knows that these spirits that existed in this time were the same spirits in the reincarnation to be judged. And this is where you have the understanding. The Most High knows what man don't know. He has the record, and he knows all the spirits that he has created. So these people that were being judged in this time weren't innocent of the Lord, because the Lord knows exactly why they were being judged. And the same thing goes with the Canaanites. All right? There's a reason why After 400 years of wickedness, the Canaanites were to be destroyed, including the children, because for many generations they were doing wickedness. Genesis 15 and 16. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. The Lord had it where the Canaanites were doing wickedness for so many generations, so that when we were brought into the land to destroy them, they were guilty. Even their children were guilty, because their children were nothing more than their fathers reincarnated, and their fathers were guilty. Okay? So the judgment was justified, even on the children. Just like Esau, Edom, when we put them into slavery, we're putting them into slavery, we're putting their children into slavery. Because both them and their children are the same spirits reincarnated that have been doing wickedness this whole time. They're the same people reincarnated again. Now, I'll put a disclaimer. That doesn't mean you can go out and see a baby and no. Everything is according to the Most High's judgment. I'm simply showing you that the Most High has access to knowledge that we don't have. And his judgment goes beyond the grave. His judgment is beyond what we know. Because he knows your history before you were even born. And this is the point. That's why it says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Well, those Edomites that led us into captivity, they died, didn't they? So how are they going to be led into captivity? Well, they're going to be reincarnated and be put into captivity, when Yahweh Shai comes. All right? So you can't understand the scriptures and understand judgment unless you understand reincarnation. And this is why the wicked would seem that they got away, people be wicked their whole life and they get a little judgment, they die, and it seems like, right, like the way people try to explain it, well, he's going to burn in hell. No, he's not going to burn in hell. So it's like, oh, he got away with it. No, he didn't get away with it. He going to come back as a child and he going to pay for his sins. He ain't going to know that. Just like we don't know that. We were born into captivity. We were born into captivity to pay for our sins. You don't know the sins you've committed in the past, but you have. We're all guilty. And that's why we're here. Simple. Okay? So with that, I'm going to say shalom.